Hey friends, welcome back to The Daily. This is Adriana coming back to you for our final practice of the month. Goodbye, August. So long. I hope that you had the kind of August that you needed, whatever that means to you. I hope that this month was exactly what you needed it to be. So for today's practice, our final practice, we are going to ground generosity in the intention of generosity, the intention to be generous. And just revisiting a lot of these kind of sub themes that have come up over the month in our exploration of generosity. We've been talking about what it means to be generous both to ourselves and also to others. We've talked about the two kind of sides of the spectrum of generosity, both giving and also receiving. We have talked a little bit about how generosity and gratitude can really ride side by side. The moment that we begin to consider what it is that we have to share, we really kind of take stock of what it is that we have, and that can be a natural wellspring of gratitude, of really just taking stock of what is already in front of us, what we feel grateful for. And we've also been talking about generosity through this personal favorite definition of generosity, which is the quality or the fact of being plentiful and large, the sense of abundance, the sense of plenty that generosity comes from, right? The sense that we have not just enough for ourselves, but we have extra to give. So for today's practice, we're going to root it in an intentions contemplation, really sort of asking this question of what it means for you personally to take the quality of generosity out into your life. Because, as I am very fond of saying here at the Daily, we practice here in this contained space of our meditation practice, not just for the 20 minutes that we're on the cushion or the chair, right? But for the way that it translates out into the rest of our lives in the moments when it actually counts. So we're going to take that idea for a spin, do a bit of a contemplation on the intention of generosity, and really just noticing whatever comes up for you. So no wrong answers here, no right or wrong answers. Really just sort of paying attention to what information comes up for you in your practice. So wherever you happen to be, as always, taking a moment to decide on your seat. And once you've landed, just giving the body a quick once over, making sure that yes, indeed, this is where we want to be. And then taking just a few moments after we've found the gaze, eyes open, eyes closed, to open our practice by opening our senses. So shifting the attention over to sound. Tonal quality, maybe any noises that are present. And staying open to sound, shifting the attention to touch. So grounding ourselves here in our bodies, and feeling the weight of the body against the cushion, the chair, and taking in the texture of clothing against the skin, and temperature of the air in the room. So just locating ourselves here in space through our direct experience. Dropping the attention to the feet. Just feeling our feet here. Texture, temperature. Feeling where the feet make contact. It's bringing a bit of interest to the details. Tracing the attention along the shin bones. Circling the kneecaps. Grazing through the thighs. And landing in the hips. Feeling where the sit bones nuzzle in to the cushion, the chair. Moving the attention to the belly, the chest. It's hanging out here in the belly, the chest. Beginning to establish contact with the body, breathing. Perhaps feeling the rise and the fall of the belly with the breath. The expansion, contraction, as the breath vacillates in the body. And wherever, however, the breath is most available, most easily felt, it's dropping our anchor of attention here, home base, the place that we return to. And we'll take just a few moments together, giving ourselves an opportunity to settle, stabilize, working with that singular instruction that as our minds wander, which they naturally will, we're just noticing when we've left our breathing, acknowledging what captures our attention, and then gently, firmly coming back to the breath in the body. And beginning to shift our practice over to contemplation. It's letting the eyes gently shut if they haven't already. And taking a moment here to touch in on the quality of generosity. What it means to be generous. Maybe just rolling the word generous around in your mind a few times. Noticing its texture, its tone. And seeing if we can locate a physical response. Perhaps a way that it makes you feel. This sense of generosity. And if so, where that feeling exists in the body. And continuing to touch in on this sense, this tone, this feeling, this texture, whatever springs to the forefront in playing with this word, generous. And it's beginning to apply it to the different areas of our life. And turning our mind over to the realm of relationships. And maybe just noticing what springs to mind with the suggestion of that word, relationships. Noticing who occupies this space for you. And beginning to apply this sense of generosity. And it's asking ourselves, what might that be like? What might that be like to bring a sense of generosity to my relationships? What might that be like? How might that alter or inform the way that I show up for these people in my life? What might that be like? And whatever information was collected here, just allowing that to fade into the backdrop a bit and bringing our attention back to the word, the intention itself, generosity, generous. And again, rolling it around in our minds a few times, noticing its tone, its texture, perhaps the way that it makes us feel. And again, beginning to apply it, turning our minds over to the realm of work, and again, just noticing what springs to mind with the suggestion of this word, work. And without getting lost in the undertow of our to-do list, beginning to apply our intention of generosity here. It's asking ourselves, what might that be like? What might that be like to engage in my work, where generosity leading the way? What might that be like? How might that alter or inform the way that I show up? What might that be like? And again, whatever information was collected here, just allowing that to fade into the backdrop a bit. And bringing our attention back to the word itself, generosity. Rolling it around in our minds a few times, really getting a feel for it. What is it to feel generous in the body? And then again, beginning to apply it. It's turning our minds over to the rest of the day ahead. And perhaps you have the entire day ahead of you. Maybe it's coming to a close. It's getting a general overview of the people you intend to engage with today, if anyone. The activities you intend to engage in, if anything. And again, applying this sense of generosity to the overview of our day, asking ourselves, what might that be like? What might that be like to participate in the rest of this day from the most generous place possible? What might that be like? How might that alter or inform the way that I show up? What might that be like? And again, whatever information was collected here, just allowing it to fade into the backdrop. And coming back to the word, the sense, the quality of generosity. And then bringing our attention back to the breath in the body. And taking a few moments here just to feel the body breathe. And seeing if we can keep this aspiration to be generous intact, even here, in feeling the body breathe. And then in our final few moments of practice, it's closing out with a little bit of sweetness, maybe a hand on the heart. It's giving ourselves some credit, a kind word. And taking a moment to thank ourselves for showing up, making time, making space, taking care of ourselves in this way. And then as you're ready, letting formal practice drop and coming back in together at your own pace, no rush. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing practice. Thank you for existing. Thank you for August. Thank you for August. Yeah, I am very much looking forward to being back with you tomorrow as we kick it off for September. I hope that you have the most marvelous last day of August. And we'll see you back here tomorrow, back on the cushion, back on the seat.